So last year was the 100th anniversary year of Disney, as in you know what Disney is. And it's also notable for being one of their biggest disaster years ever. And I think it's pretty safe to say that that year scared Disney into this very strange state we're in currently. Like every new announcement they reveal is very strange and worrying and a lot of other things, and I feel like talking about it as a fan of Disney, but mostly a fan of the history of Disney and their artistic works. Them as a company can go suck an egg. So let's begin this by looking at everything Disney put out last year. And I mean Disney themselves. No Marvel, no Star Wars, I'm not even going to talk about Pixar yet. Let's just focus on the movies that Disney Studios released last year. Here we go. So the first movie that they released last year, according to this list, is The Little Mermaid remake. So this movie's not even one of the worst Disney remakes, but it is a Disney remake, so, you know, people are kind of sick of those. It still did pretty well financially, all things considered. Like, it wasn't a bomb. I wasn't expecting it to be, given the track record. But yeah, I mean, it's a remake of The Little Mermaid that isn't terrible. It does things I like, but also it does things that are just kind of whatever. I'm going to talk about it more in an upcoming video, so I won't dwell on it here. It's whatever. And then we got the Haunted Mansion reboot. Oh boy. So look, I actually think this movie is really good. There's a lot I really like about this movie. It's one that I'm looking forward to watching again for another upcoming video. You probably know which one that would be. But in spite of how good I think this movie is, why did they release this very clearly spooky Halloween movie in, oh, what month was it? Oh yeah, July? Why would you release your family horror movie in July? Oh, well, probably because it would go on Disney Plus during October. That's not how it should work. If you are going to release a movie in theaters, release it in the time it can make a bunch of money. Don't release it so it hits streaming during the marketable time. It'll do well on streaming either way. Everything does well on streaming. And then we get to Wish, a movie designed to pander to Disney Renaissance fans, such as myself. As you probably know, I don't like this movie. I thought it was, like, okay when I first watched it, but, like, the more I think about it, the worse it gets. It's just kind of nothing, and we will discuss the biggest issue with it later on, but just know there's a fundamental issue with this movie and why it doesn't work. Anyway, yeah, goes without saying, all of these movies bombed. Like bad. Like, every single time one would come out, it was just a report of a disaster. And this did affect the other studios, too. Dial of Destiny did really badly, and the MCU only had one hit out, which was Guardians 3, which absolutely deserved all the money in the world, but that's a story for a different day. I at least saw a bit more positivity on the TV show side of things. People seem to really like Ahsoka, and people seem to really like Loki Season 2, so it wasn't a complete loss. So let's find out what Disney's doing this year. Wait, Moana 2?! When this teaser dropped completely out of nowhere, out of left field, no prior announcement, I was just very confused. And while I got pretty excited, because I love Moana, and a sequel to Moana makes a lot of sense, more than, like, most of the other movies that they've confirmed sequels to. But, like, then we got the other news. It's a reworking of the Disney Plus series they canceled. Lin-Manuel Miranda isn't coming back. And it's clear why they did this, right? After Wish bombed, they knew they needed a moneymaker in theaters, so they took their most popular franchise they currently had, a movie that hadn't gotten a sequel, and they gave it a sequel. And it also is worth noting that every other movie that they've confirmed recently has been a sequel. Frozen 3 and Frozen 4. Zootopia 2. And even on Pixar side, we're getting Inside Out 2 later this year, and Toy Story 5 at some point. It's all sequels to their successful films, because now that Wish failed, original ideas are just too risky. And that is kind of terrifying. Because look, Wish's problem was not that it was original, it's the fact that it was derivative. It took elements from Disney classics and lumped them together with no rhyme or reason and just said, yeah, it works. There's a villain, he gets a villain song. There's, a wish star, there's fairy tale stuff. There's talking animals, Let's go! I'm lucky enough to currently be in a place where there is not a trailer for an upcoming Disney remake, so that's preferable. They didn't reveal anything, right? No, they didn't. They didn't reveal anything yet, so that's good. So here's my thing with Wish. This is kind of what I've been thinking for a while. It is a movie that Disney forced their modern team to make, and they wanted it to be similar to the Disney Renaissance movies. However, the modern team didn't work during the Disney Renaissance period. This is a new team with new ideas, and they're new, they're young. They don't have those same storytelling structure, like, they don't do that. And I think the new team was just starting to find their footing with original stuff. With, like, Encanto. Encanto was so good and did not have any old school Disney people on it at all, as far as I know. So as soon as they made Encanto and got all that, like, positive attention, for the first time, like, really got it, now they have to make a movie that is nothing like that and is all about the old structure rather than making a new kind of fairy tale movie. Nope, gotta make it just like the Renaissance, even though it really isn't, because the music is completely different, the characters are not nearly as memorable, the designs aren't as good, the animation style is really haphazard, well, the art style is. I think the animation itself is pretty much perfect, but the overall art style is ew. And with Pixar, their one original movie that they had a trailer for and everything, Elio, is delayed! It's not coming out this year anymore. It has been replaced with Inside Out 2, a marketable sequel. I'm not even saying it'll be bad, just... man. But why would they do that? Did they have a reason to do that? Well, Elemental bombed at the box office, and that was a Pixar original. It's so silly to use movies that are completely different to justify the fate of a different movie, but that is the point that we are at with Disney. So that was a lot of ranting and raving, but I like to end things positively. What does Disney need to succeed? What I think Disney needs, and what Wish probably should have been, is a risk. Something that uses what the studio is good at, and they tell a completely new kind of story with it. Bring back the tropes people love. Use a villain. Have songs that are very musical theater-esque. But just tell a different story. Use a new animation style. I know Wish tried, but like, look at Spider-Verse. Look at Puss in Boots. Even look at Kung Fu Panda 4, which is trying a lot harder to look like the previous Kung Fu Panda movies, sure, but it still looks very stylish. This is what Disney needs. Heck, I'd go as far to say they need a 2D animated movie. I think that would get a lot of attention. The Bob's Burgers movie has been my only chance to watch a 2D animated movie in theaters. I want to watch more 2D animated movies in theaters, please. But first we need to watch Frozen 3 and Frozen 4 and Zootopia 2 and Wreck-It Ralph 3 and Moana 2 and Encanto 2 and Strange World 7, and then, maybe, we'll get something good. I will review every one of these movies, won't I?